Before we get into the footage, I have to give you a disclaimer. This isn't a modern travel vlog. There are no drone shots, no 4K color grading, and definitely no outfit of the day. This is what travel looked like in 2009. No apps, no instant maps, just a chunky camera, DVD tapes, and a spindle of CDs to save pictures because my memory card was only 2 GB. I'm going back through my hard drive today to see what New Zealand looked like before Instagram changed the way we see it. This is a journey through a New Zealand that felt a little more disconnected. Day 1 was all about the Great Transit. We started in Brunei, hopped over to Singapore, and boarded SQ297 for a nearly 10-hour flight to Christchurch. Interesting fact, Christchurch is known as the Garden City, and back then it was famous for being the most English city outside of England. Landing at 9:30 a.m. on September 20th, the air was crisp and the adventure was officially on. We didn't stay in Christchurch just yet. We immediately headed south towards Dunedin. The drive along the east coast is stunning, but the real highlight was our stop at the Meraki boulders. These are massive, perfectly spherical grey stones scattered on the beach. Interesting fact, scientists say these boulders formed about 60 million years ago on the sea floor, but Maori legend says they are baskets of food washed ashore from a wrecked voyaging canoe. By late afternoon, we reached Dunedin. The name Dunedin actually comes from Dun Aiden, the Scottish Gaelic name for Edinburgh. You could feel that Scottish influence everywhere, from the statues of Robert Burns to the Victorian and Edwardian architecture. Even though it was just our first night, the city's moody, historic vibe was the perfect introduction to the South Island. Looking back at these notes, I realize how precious these memories of Christchurch and Dunedin are. In 2005 to 2010, the Christchurch Cathedral stood tall in the square, and the city's heritage buildings were fully intact. While the 2011 earthquakes would later redefine the city's skyline into the modern, resilient, rebuilt Christchurch we see today, my memories are of that old world, quiet charm that feels like a beautiful snapshot in time. But the journey was just getting started. If you think the Scottish vibes of Dunedin were cool, wait until you see where we headed next. The adventure capital of the world, Queenstown. But first, we had to explore a castle. Days 1 and 2 were a whirlwind of long-haul flights, ancient beach boulders, and misty Scottish architecture. New Zealand has a way of making you feel small in the best way possible, surrounded by millions of years of history and nature. We started the morning in Dunedin. It feels like you've stepped into Scotland. The University of Otago architecture is stunning, very dark basalt and white limestone. We took a quick stroll through the Botanic Garden, which is actually the oldest in the country. It's the perfect, peaceful start before things get complicated. Next stop, Lanark Castle. They call it New Zealand's only castle, but behind the Italian marble and the stunning gardens lies a family history so dark it ended in multiple deaths and a scandalous suicide. Today, we're exploring why this Kiwi landmark is known for more than just its architecture. Built between 1871 and 1876 by William Lanark, a wealthy merchant and politician, this house was meant to be a masterpiece. He spared no expense, bringing in Venetian glass and English tiles. But as we learned today, the house was built on a foundation of heartbreak. William built it for his first wife, Eliza, but she died young, leaving him with 6 children and a massive empty castle. The tragedy didn't stop with Eliza. William's favorite daughter, Kate, died of typhoid at just 26. Before she passed, William had built her a magnificent 3,000 square foot ballroom as a 21st birthday present. Today, that ballroom is used for banquets, but many say Kate never truly left. It's one of the most common spots for eerie encounters reported by visitors. The story takes a scandalous turn with William's third wife, Constance. Rumors began to swirl that Constance was having a secret affair with William's own son, Douglas. In 1898, burdened by financial ruin and the heartbreak of his family betrayal, William Lanark took his own life in a committee room at Parliament House. Just 12 years later, his son Douglas, the one rumoured to be with Constance, also committed suicide. Because of this history, the castle is a magnet for paranormal stories. Our guide told us about the floating lady seen in Constance's boudoir and the feeling of being watched in the corridors. Even skeptics admit there's a heavy atmosphere here. At one point, the building was even used as a mental asylum and a shell-shocked soldiers' retreat, adding even more layers to its haunting reputation. After a quick lunch, we waved goodbye to Dunedin and headed to Queenstown. We checked into our hotel right near the base of the Remarkables. Pro tip: if you're staying here, set an alarm. We woke up early the next morning to catch the sun hitting those peaks. It turns the whole range into a glowing wall of gold and purple. Down at Lake Wakatipu, we met a true local legend, the TSS Earnslaw. She's a vintage twin-screw steamship launched in 1912, the same year as the Titanic. You can actually head down to the engine room to see the coal-fired boilers at work. Our cruise took us to Walter Pig High Country Farm. We got to see sheepdogs in action and explore the beautiful heritage gardens. To wrap up the day, we headed to Arrowtown. This place is like a time capsule from the 1860s gold rush. Walking down Buckingham Street with its tiny miners' cottages, you can almost hear the echoes of the thousands of miners who once panned for gold in the Arrow River. New Zealand is so much more than just landscapes. It's the stories and history that really bring it to life. If you could visit one haunted castle in the world, would it be Lanark? Let me know in the comments. Day 5 started early as we left Queenstown. Our first stop was the Gippsland Valley. Known as the Valley of the Vines, this area is famous for its Pinot Noir. The contrast of the green vines against the rugged Swiss mountains is incredible. From there, we pushed north to Omarama. This is the gliding capital of the world because of its unique thermal air currents, and the landscape here opens up into these vast, golden high country vistas that make you feel tiny. As we reached the Mackenzie Basin, we hit the icons Mount Cook and Lake Tekapo. The water here is an unbelievable milky turquoise. This happens because of glacial flow, fine rock dust ground down by glaciers that stays suspended in the water and reflects the light. It looks like a postcard, especially with the Church of the Good Shepherd sitting right on the shore. Before settling into Christchurch, we took a detour to a local alpaca farm. These guys are pure serotonin, so curious and soft. It was the perfect break before exploring the garden city. We walked through the botanic gardens and visited the Bridge of Remembrance. You can really feel the history and the resilience of Christchurch in every corner of the city centre. Day 6 began with a quick flight to the North Island. Welcome to Wellington. Now, they called it Windy Wellington for a reason. It is officially the windiest city in the world. It's caused by the Venturi effect, where winds get squeezed through the narrow gap of the Cook Strait between the two islands, turning the city into a giant wind tunnel. Pro tip: leave the umbrella at home. It won't survive 5 minutes here. Our first stop was the Executive Wing of Parliament, famously known as the Beehive. Designed by Sir Basil Spence, its circular scap shape symbolizes a hive of industry. It's easily the most unique Parliament building I've ever seen. Next, we headed to the waterfront to visit Te Papa. The full name is Te Papa Tongarewa, which in Maori means container of treasures. Te Papa translates to the ground or the foundation. It's called this because the museum is the vessel that holds the identity of New Zealand. This place is the heartbeat of New Zealand culture. Days 5 and 6 were the perfect bridge between the two islands. We've seen the vines, the mountains, the fluffiest alpacas, and the treasures of the capital. Day 7 started with a drive to Lake Taupo. It looks peaceful, but it's actually a giant volcanic caldera. Just a few minutes away is a spot I'll never forget, Huka Falls. Unlike those tall, wispy waterfalls, this one is all about raw power. The Waikato River narrows into a tiny canyon, blasting out over 200,000 liters of water per second. That bright blue color is caused by tiny air bubbles trapped in the water. It's loud, it's misty, and it's incredible. From there, we hit Rotorua. You'll smell it before you see it. The sulfur gives the whole city an eggy scent, but you get used to it. We spend the afternoon at the government gardens, which looks like a Tudor palace, before taking the Skyline gondola. We rode the luge down the side of Mount Gongo Taha. Think of it like real-life Mario Kart with a view of the lake. It's a total adrenaline rush. On day 8, we visited Te Puai. This was the highlight of the trip for me. We witnessed a traditional Maori welcome and a haka show. Seeing the haka in person is a completely different experience than seeing it on TV. The floor vibrates, the chanting is intense, and the pride in that culture is palpable. It's more than just a dance. It's a powerful story of ancestors and strength. While at Te Puai and Paradise Valley, we saw the Pohutu Geyser. It erupts up to 30 meters high. This area is a geothermal wonderland. You see boiling mud pools that look like chocolate porridge and steam rising right out of the sidewalk. It feels like you're stepped onto another planet. As we made our way towards Auckland, we stopped at the Hamilton Gardens. This isn't just a park, it's a collection of garden rooms from different eras and countries. Finally, we arrived in Auckland, the city of sails. We hit Mount Eden for a 360-degree view of the city and finished the day at the American Express Viaduct, watching the yachts come in as the sun set on our final night in New Zealand. But wait, did we actually manage to see a kiwi bird before we left? And how does the Auckland nightlife compare to the quiet mountains of the south? I'll tell you in the final wrap-up. Days 7 and 8 were the perfect mix of culture and geology. From the roar of Huka Falls to the intensity of the Haka, the North Island has a soul that is totally unique. It's been a whirlwind 10 days. But every mile was worth it. If you're planning your own New Zealand trip, which island are you more excited for? North or South? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for the full day 1 to 10 itinerary breakdown. Today we arrived at the finish line, Auckland, the city of sails. Did you know that in this city, 1 in every 3 households own a boat? Today, we are going to find out why Auckland is consistently ranked as one of the most livable cities in the world. Our morning starts with a climb. But don't worry, the bus does the hard work. We're heading to the summit of Mount Eden. This is one of the city's many dormant volcanoes. From the top, you get a 360-degree view of the entire Auckland Isthmus. It's the perfect spot to see how the city is cradled between 2 different harbours. Next, we dive into the heart of the city at the Auckland Domain. We'll visit the Winter Gardens, and as you can see, these colourful blooms are spectacular year-round. It's a peaceful escape where Victorian glass houses meet New Zealand's lush flora. Keep an eye out for the native eels in the nearby springs. They are a huge part of the local Maori heritage. We're hitting the road along Tamaki Drive, which hugs the coastline. We'll stop at Mission Bay, a vibrant beachside suburb. It's the perfect place to dip your toes in the water or grab a coffee while watching the yachts sail by. This is where you really feel that balanced Auckland lifestyle. We'll pay our respects at the Michael Joseph Savage Memorial Park. It's a stunning garden dedicated to New Zealand's first Labour Prime Minister. From here, you'll get a classic view of the Auckland Harbour Bridge, the iconic gateway to the north. Before the sun sets, we'll explore the historic charm of Parnell Village and the modern Viaduct Harbour. It's a striking combination of old and new architecture. If you look up, you'll see the Sky Tower piercing the skyline. Standing 328 meters tall, it's the ultimate icon of the city. It's hard to say goodbye to these views. But our flight tonight isn't just a departure. It's the start of our final leg where we get to relax and reflect on all these memories. Tonight at 11:55 p.m., we board SQ282 as we fly towards Singapore and eventually back home to Brunei on day 10. We carry the spirit of New Zealand with us. From the glaciers of the south to the sails of the north, it has been the trip of a lifetime. Before we head to the airport for our 9 a.m. connection to Brunei, I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 days was your absolute favorite? Share your best photo in the group chat and let's celebrate an amazing journey. Let's head home. Bye!